The Detroit Lions are heading in the right direction. Let's Talk Lions. Welcome back to an all-new episode here at Let's Talk Lions. My name is Jay. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas, a Christmas day, a Christmas weekend, Christmas week, whatever it was for you. Hope it was a blast. I took the entire week off, Sunday to Sunday, from that Arizona game to the Atlanta game. Just didn't want to make any videos, wanted to take some time and really sit back, relax, enjoy. So I thank you for all standing by patiently. But now that we are back, I do want to begin this episode by saying we beat Arizona. The Lions are heading in the right direction. We took down one of the best teams in the NFL without TJ Hawkinson, our leading receiver. We did this without our lead rusher, DeAndre Swift, without our number 2, Jamal Williams. I mean, the list really does go on with how we were able to beat Arizona with a team that was really not a lot of our starters, not a lot of our leading offensive players. But Jared Goff came out, he threw beautifully, he had a great game, made connections with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Josh Reynolds. Hey, the Detroit Lions as a whole looked phenomenal that game. Really what you're seeing is a foundation of young players. This foundation is being built. This cornerstone is being laid, and it is phenomenal. We talked about it the week before Christmas, basically being like, hey, Brad Holmes got it right with the draft picks, and we're seeing that all come to fruition. We're seeing that all come to life. Forget about Arizona. Let's move on to Atlanta, see what we did today. Well, I guess yesterday by the time this video is coming out. The Lions as a whole were strapped for starters. I mean, Jared Goff goes down with COVID, so Tim Boyle is starting QB, his second start in the NFL ever. DeAndre Swift is out with that shoulder injury. TJ Hawkinson with the thumb surgery. Amani Oruwariye, who I just got his jersey, so excited to wear it. And then it turns out that he is also being placed on the IR from that Arizona game. I mean, the list goes on. Alex Anzalone, you name it. You name it, guys are out left and right. So going into Atlanta, I looked at my wife and I was like, hey, listen, today's going to be fun because we get to just focus on the foundation. We get to focus on a lot of the youth. We get to focus on the UDFAs like Craig Reynolds. We get to focus on the Aleem McNeils, the Derek Barnes, the Amon-Ra St. Browns. Really get to see what Brad Holmes, what Dan Campbell's cooking with all these guys, putting together that foundation like we're talking about. And let me tell you, this young crew almost took down Atlanta. Now, I know Atlanta's not a great team. They've had a hard year. It's been a lot of ups and downs. They were 6-8 at the time of the game. Quite frankly, we had Atlanta in the palm of our hands. We could have won that game. Jalen Reeves may have been knocking the ball out, giving us an opportunity to seal that victory. And quite frankly, it was the inexperience of Tim Boyle. First of all, like I said, it's his second NFL start ever. And then to be in a situation where you got 30 seconds left. Can you lead this team to a fourth quarter victory? And unfortunately, in his greenness, in his inexperience, he snaps the ball on that last play and he stares down. He watches the receiver the whole time. And what that does is it shows Atlanta, hey, I'm throwing to this guy. I don't care where he is. I'm throwing to him. A seasoned quarterback, a veteran. Yeah, they have that target in mind, but they're not just going to stare at Stephon Diggs from start to finish. He was never open in the first place. He was covered to a T. Atlanta had him. He should not have thrown the ball there to begin with. And then that guy cuts up and then gets the ball for the pick. Game over. I wanted that W for Tim Boyle alone. Him being his second NFL start, seeing what he was able to do against Atlanta, leading the Lions to that degree. Quite frankly, I was very impressed by Tim Boyle as a whole, just not that very singular play. Another person that I do want to pinpoint is Austin Bryant. Bryant had a phenomenal game. He looked great to the point where I watched the game with my wife and she goes during it at some point, she goes, wow, number 2 has been dancing all game because after any play that he found success, that he made a play, he's flexing, he's dancing, just hilarious. Watching Bryant be healthy has been so great. Now, moving on from there, I did want to talk about Tim Boyle. Boyle had a couple struggles throughout the game. He underthrew the ball in a few scenarios. There were some plays where you're just watching him. He lost sight of the receiver. You could tell he's green. But quite frankly, when you look at his stats yesterday, I was impressed. Boyle was 24 for 35, a 70% completion percentage. He threw for 187 yards, 1 TD, and 1 pick. Really, if you compare Boyle's stats, you compare his gameplay to his first start this season against Cleveland, you could see how much he has improved. Against Cleveland in his first start, he was 15 for 23. He had a 65% completion percentage. He only threw for 77 yards. He had 0 TDs and 2 interceptions. He improved drastically. His total attempts went up. His completion percentage went up. His yardage went up by 110 plus yards. He actually threw for a touchdown, and then from 2 interceptions, he goes down to 1, and quite frankly, that last interception was just, it felt like his nervousness, and he had an idea of what he wanted to do. He did it, should never have thrown it. So really what I'm trying to get across here is Tim Boyle played well. Tim Boyle got out there, second start, wasn't shaky, looked pretty confident out there, and I'm really pleased with what he did. I wanted that W for Boyle alone. But I'll tell you what, the winds are changing here in Detroit. They have been all season, even with all the losses. After that victory against Minnesota, you can see the uplifting attitude that's happening in the locker room. The coaching style, the outcomes of these games. I mean, this locker room is believing. The last thing I want to talk about in regards to the Lions trending upward, and specifically in this Atlanta game, is our rookies. Even with all the losses, I know that we're 2-11-1, 2-12-1 at this point. Doesn't matter to me, because what we're seeing is a sturdiness at hand with this young squad, with all the draft picks. What we're seeing, the UDFAs as well. All in all, it is strong at the base. Watching that game, I kept my eyes on our rookies, and let's just look at it for what it is. Penei Sewell. If you do not hear an O-lineman's name get called throughout the game, that's a good thing. That's what you want. You never want to hear an O-lineman's name get called, because if it gets called, it's because they did something wrong. Penei Sewell never called on once. You never hear anything. Watching him block, watching him protect, he has proved himself to be worth that first round pick that we made this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown officially tied Megatron's record for 8+ receptions in the last 4 games. That's good company to be with. Now look at his stats as a whole against Atlanta. He was 9 for 11, 91 yards, 1 TD, 10.1 yards per reception. Amon-Ra St. Brown, my God, is this young fella playing well. And honestly, quite frankly, it's probably best that the wide receiver core has been so limited this year, because he's seeing so many more reps than he would have seen otherwise. All I'm saying is, get your St. Brown jerseys now. Derek Barnes. Barnes showed up early. He got 3 tackles in this game, and he got his first sack on the season this year against Matt Ryan. Huge congratulations to him. And lastly, Aleem McNeil, the humble, hungry giant, if I may. He got his second sack of the season as well yesterday, and then he did the thing where it looks like he's eating a lot, and he kind of is rubbing his face. I don't know. It's funny, though. I love watching him get a sack, just to watch him do that weird celebration. It is a beautiful thing. The rookies here in Detroit have been playing phenomenally. I'm very excited about what Brad Holmes has done. I've talked about that. We're going to get into rookies this week. And one other thing that I do want to talk about, because we didn't get to after that Arizona game, is Craig Reynolds. My guy looks like he's out there riding a Nimbus 2000, while all the rest of the defensive players are out there riding the old brooms from gym class with Madam Hooch. There's Craig Reynolds zipping through, breaking tackles, getting extra yardage. I mean, quite frankly, that game against Denver got us all looking. We knew back in the preseason game against Buffalo, hey, this guy's got talent. He's got something. We wanted to see him out on the field. Well, finally, he gets that opportunity with Swift going down, Williams getting COVID. So here comes Reynolds against Denver. Puts up, I want to say 80 some odd yards against Denver. Then the following week, a breakout performance, 112 yards against Arizona. It was phenomenal. Watching Craig Reynolds, this story of a guy who's going from the bottom to the top. Oh my God. It brings me so much joy. It brings me so much joy for him knowing how much work this young man has put into this craft, this game, and it's coming true. It's coming to fruition. I love it. Love Craig Reynolds. Love the story behind him, but also the fact that this guy is just a humble young man who's giving it everything he's got. All in all, the foundation is being laid. It's being built. Now, don't trick yourselves. Next year is going to be tough. Next year is going to be an uphill battle. However, if there's anything that the Lions, that Dan Campbell, that we are proving at this point, it's we're willing to punch up and we can actually find success in doing so. There have been multiple games where we lost in the last few seconds. Well, I think next year, watching this team, watching how the offense has finally been able to start clicking with a few more right pieces, this is a team that can, instead of having to lose in the last 3 seconds, can be the team that's winning in the last 3 seconds. I believe that the Detroit Lions are trending upwards, that the foundation that's being built is solid. When it comes to the draft, in Brad Holmes, I trust. When it comes to the locker room, in Dan Campbell, I trust. When it comes to this defense, in Aaron Glenn, I trust. I trust the leadership top down. I do. And quite frankly, I mean, whether you want to or not is up to you, but I highly recommend that you get on the train sooner than later because this team, this foundation is solid. This draft, this upcoming year is so vital to continuing this process. And I trust Brad Holmes. I trust Dan Campbell. And I am excited for the future. I think you should be too. And if you're not, well, so be it. To each their own. I'm going to eat good pizza. You might not. That's why I don't eat pizza in Michigan. That's a hot take. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll get into it a little bit more here coming up. Excited to keep hanging out, talking Lions. I mean, life's good. Life's good. Let's welcome 2022 in with some Auld Lang Syne.
To my big brother George, the richest man in town.